The body uses alcohol in a positive way to ease the tensions of the mind. The mind, in turn, sends signals to the body to relax the muscles and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, if the mind is never relieved of that tension, those signals never get sent, and the body is unable to fuck.
This story is about the effect addiction can have on a relationship and how hard it is to make a change in yourself and see it from your partner's perspective until they are possibly gone. I love that they were able to reconnect in the end, and it was really heartwarming to see him make such like an actual change in himself. Overall, I think it was a great mix of funny and serious, and it really kept me engaged throughout the whole film.
Blueberries. Wow, man. Quite an experience this was. When you first start watching this film, you think it's going to be a crazy, quirky comedy because of the guy's monologue when it comes to talk about alcohol and the positive effects that it has on people. And then, the film continues to have this light comedy aspect, even though it deals with heavy stuff. But by the end of it, it becomes a quite different thing. I think that this film shines because of its way of exploring how alcoholic people refuses to see they have a problem. They blame on everyone else. They don't take responsibility for the things they do because of this problem. And this guy, this protagonist, is very annoying because he's always pushing with his obsession, with his justifications, and I think that the actor did a great job playing him in such a way because you get to understand why his family and friends care for him. They're close, they love him, but they also get very tired of the way he acts, especially when he drinks. And they try to help him over and over again, and he just turns the situation over and over again. And by the end of it, his wife leaves him, and that's what he realized what he might lose if he continues this way. And that's a very that was a very convincing twist to make him change his mind. And I like it very much, the ending, how he finally comes to accept all the bad things, the wrong things he was doing. And I think that the film brings some introspection to people who has this kind of problem, and that at the same time it offers some sort of hope that we can change, that we can be better people. So I think it was a very good film. It was a bit long, maybe, but it was quite enjoyable. So thanks for saying it.
I like Blueberries. It was funny, but also kind of like emotional. It was like a dramedy in a good way. I think it balanced the tragedy and also like the genuine, heartfelt like sadness of it, but without being melodramatic. Is like had some comedic moments. Uh, in a way of like not in a way of like not without taste, like in a way that's like more real than it is making light of a unfortunate addiction. Um so and I like that it threaded that needle really well, yo. That's not easy to do. That's great writing, great directing, great acting. Um yeah, well done, great job.
I rather enjoy the filmmaker's decision to title this film Blueberries because you really hone in and focus in when you hear the word blueberries or see blueberries uttered within this piece. You are diving into the dynamics of sobriety and non-sobriety and the impacts of those choices in a relationship. And what makes this scenario very interesting is that we have our main character and he's a drunk, and we see this character be irritated with that. And she's like, oh, well, if only he had stopped drinking, our relationship could be salvaged. And it's during the sobriety that she realizes that she doesn't have this connection. And so maybe it's not the substance itself, it's the person. Because as he breaks down and chooses the sobriety life he's making this decision for his love, to keep her, to maintain that balance, and loses her. He goes, down a slippery slope. And at the end of the day, you really notice that these two characters, although experiencing changes, and we are witnessing that and kind of tangibly seeing the change in the root of it all, they are still kind of the same in sense of their choices and dynamics, right? We can see that the relationship is in disarray and just not necessarily fluid. And we don't really see a time in the relationship where it was, sort of happy. So we're not necessarily rooting for the sake of this relationship to work. I feel like I found myself relating to the person who was choosing sobriety and not having this sort of acceptance of who he was, bettering his life, is ultimately, I think, what had him fall down his slope. And that's the thing with sobriety, is recovery is an everlasting journey, and one thing can make you slip, and relapses are normal and things of that nature. And so being able to capture that in this experience, I think goes the mile.